Modest Buzelis is a 6'11" wing with appealing movement abilities, the upside to really shoot and handle it, and someone who has a knack for making plays in a few ways. And taking his talents to the G League Ignite this year, he'll look to continue to grow and stand out to be one of, if not the top pick in the 2024 NBA draft. Modest's parents both played professional basketball in their home country of Lithuania, but with them finding roots in the US, Modest spent most of his time growing up in the Chicago area before first making the move to Brewster Academy as a junior and then finishing up high school at Sunrise, ultimately becoming a McDonald's All-American, winning Gatorade Player of the Year in New Hampshire and Kansas, and finishing ranked top 7 by consensus among other things. While there are a few more questions surrounding him and many of the other projected top prospects in this class than in previous years, he is still a very intriguing talent. And we'll start with what is probably the most intriguing part of his game, and that is his combination of size and overall playmaking or creation upside. Now, he has some things to work on, especially adjusting to the pro level to fulfill his potential, but there aren't too many others in this class who have these tools. He can grab and go and take it coast to coast in transition, and he did a lot of that with Expressions Elite in the EYBL, and actually played some point guard for them. He found a lot of success changing ends to finish with a Euro or weaving through traffic, and though we're becoming more and more accustomed to guys doing that at his size, it is still a unique quality. In the half court, he loves to use hang dribbles and push outs and has at times parlayed those into crosses to get downhill and finish at the bucket, where he has converted at a pretty high rate. He's also done the same to create space on the perimeter for jumpers, throwing in some step backs and a few pullbacks as well, and he can navigate a pick and roll and score near the bucket and hit the occasional pull up out of that. There's still a lot of angles and pace to improve there, but he often made the most of those opportunities. Now, he can be a bit upright with the ball, and his overall flexibility along with some of the handle hasn't been the best, or maybe at the level where you project him to be a primary, but overall I do think there is a good amount to work with long term, and we'll see where he goes. And again, for whatever reason, whether it was the freedom or something else, he did look a little bit more spry and fluid in the EYBL than he did at Sunrise. You can kind of see that in some of these clips.
Seven to shoot. Buzelis. Started by Cole. And bullseye.
They're really hard to score against. They're committed to playing defense, but they're also long and very athletic.
Buzelis step back mid-range.
Despite the raw assist numbers not being the most impressive, I've liked a good amount of what he's shown as a passer and playmaker across levels, and think he has complementary upside at the very least, if not taking on some eventual secondary responsibilities. He's shown himself to be unselfish and someone who likes to get others involved. He's a solid ball mover, and though there are a number of things that'll go into how much he progresses as an overall playmaker, he has been capable of running a pick and roll and making most of the basic reads, and then also just simply processing things quick enough to find an open teammate off the bounce. He'll need to continue to progress as an overall decision maker, just making a simple play, avoiding guys digging on the ball, and tightening up the handle, as those are some of the bigger things I've seen hold him back to this point. But this is an important part of what he does and could do in the future.
Pick at this end a moment ago. Oh, great pass. And Scotty Middleton. 19 combined turnovers. Great look.
Second straight start. He came off the bench on Thursday. Oh, there we go.
3-0. Walker, one pass, flip it up and bowl.
Stinks. And who has basketball IQ? Buzelis, one more to the corner. Here's Brown. Buries it.
Belated blocker. How fitting.
Now up ahead, Sunrise Christian. Nice John Ball with the slam.
One of the bigger developments of Modest's game last season was his three-point shot. Now, in the past, to me, he's been a capable shooter with viable long-term mechanics, but he did make major progress in terms of the consistency, footwork, and release point, which resulted in the bump from being around a sub 30% guy in the past to 43% on 3.5 attempts last year with Sunrise, and that was a very important development to see. He excelled on your ordinary catch and shoot looks in a lot of different situations, but he was really good on shakeups and drifts to the corner and just moving into the open space and making himself available for his teammates, and he ultimately connected on a lot of those opportunities. And it came off of a few off-ball screens, not a ton, but more than we had seen from him in the past, and had some success there. Now, there will be an adjustment to NBA range that I'm sure he's already been working on this summer. He wasn't shooting from the deepest range, and he's also a pretty square shooter in a lot of ways, so I am curious to see what that looks like from the 23-9 line, but nonetheless, I like his touch. I think this is something that he can bring to the next level, and it'll be key in unlocking some of the other parts of his game and giving him a consistent area for production across different situations and lineups. Now, with all of this in mind, I am very curious to see how Ignite uses him. I think he should have a solid amount of freedom to handle the ball, but at this level, also getting him on the move as much as possible, forcing him to solely create the advantages in the half-court settings less would be ideal. So we're talking the dribble handoffs, pin downs, some pick and roll, let him operate out of those too high or horn sets that they ran last year. And he's also a solid cutter and just has a knack for moving into the right spaces. So I think he could really shine in some of those settings, but we'll see soon enough how they put it together and where he could find the most future success offensively.
Coach Steve Smith. Nice pass.
GM after this. Yeah. Stephen, what do you think?
Cowboy Nation.
Now, one of the biggest adjustments Modest is going to have heading into the G League and beyond is to the physicality. It's already shown up at times in the past, whether it's getting stripped of the ball on drives or knocked off a driving lane or having more difficulty finishing versus more contact or in high traffic. So those are some of the bigger things I think he'll need to work through offensively, along with tightening the handle, as that'll be very important to him maximizing his potential in the future. From what I've seen, he already looks to be progressing a lot physically, so I am interested to see how it looks functionally at this level. And then another one of the bigger questions with him is his consistency and engagement on the defensive end. I personally feel like we saw more of him trending in the right direction last year from what I've seen, but the attention to detail on help rules and concepts, rotations, matching up in transition, all that type of stuff will be some of the first things I, at least, and I think other scouts will be watching. And then from there, it'll be to see where he matches up best. Is he a 3? What coverages does he project best in? What does he provide in terms of help side rim protection, given some of the flashes there? And then how does that all look with the personnel this Ignite team has, and how do we project that towards the future? This group is super young, so I'm expecting it to be pretty rough early on, which has been the case with all these teams, but I think this group could end up giving teams a unique look once we get into January, February, and March. So expectation wise, we're really just looking for more progress with the motor and awareness, and then from there seeing where he checks the boxes in all the other important defensive areas. Like we alluded to at the top, Modest is one of the more popular picks for the #1 overall selection next June. And while I think he's certainly talented enough to grab that spot in this class and he'll be in that range on my board to start the year, I think there are some paths he falls more to that top 5 to 7-ish range, which is still very good obviously, but maybe not that surefire top 3 guy that we've kind of become accustomed to in years past. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see how he performs in what's somehow the 4th year of the Ignite program. And it's important to remember this is all just a baseline look both in the good and lesser parts of his and these prospects games we'll talk about in these videos. So I appreciate y'all for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more NBA draft and other NBA content, and leave a comment down below of your thoughts on Modest's game. As always, I'm Keandre, this is HoopIntellect. Until next time, I'm out.
I know at times you've been #1 in mock drafts, other times top 5, whatever. Like, as you're sort of setting the goal and your mindset going into your season with the G League Ignite, how much does your draft position matter?
It means nothing. I mean, it's cool to have it, like, to be projected #1, but I haven't accomplished anything. I'm not even close to where I think I can be, so it means nothing to me.